A rising star in the South African film industry's film is making waves all around the world, and that is A Great Town Girl. And also, Brian Johnson's third film in the trilogy of films of the Knives Out franchise will be opening the BFI Film Festival. And last but not the least, ZHA has been nabbed by A24 to distribute in the North American market and other territories. These and more right here on the Film Mandate. My name is Papa Otu. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the Film Mandate, where I bring to you movie news, reviews, and reactions both from the African front and the international scene. Thank you so much for joining me for this very episode of the Film Mandate. But I'd like to take the opportunity to apologize for not being able to bring to you content yesterday. I had just a technical problem which shut down all my systems, so I wasn't able to do so. And apologies for that. So, for that reason, I will be bringing to you content on Saturday to replace that which I was not able to do yesterday. So pardon me for that, and I hope we continue with this fruitful relationship in, knowing more about what is happening around the world in terms of movies. So thank you so much for joining me for this episode, and we'll be delving into the very first story. So there is a, a rising, star in the South African film industry whose film is making waves around the world. A film called Grey Town Girl making waves around the world. And she's been in the industry for a while, but this seems to be her major feature film that she's brought about. An original story, situated in or of South Africa that is making waves around the world. And I think we need to really know more about what's happening over with her. So there's an article published in the IOL website on the IOL website, and I thought we talk about it. So this says that Rani Sitaram, a rising star in South African cinema, and this was published about a day ago, and that's her in your shot from South Africa. And let's read. It says that having received two nominations of the 2025 Simon Mabunu Sabela Awards in the category of Best Supporting Actress Film, Rani Sitaram, the producer of Greytown Girl, believes this further affirms her status as a creative force committed to impactful storytelling. Her latest project is not only making waves globally, but it has further cemented her reputation as a filmmaker dedicated to telling stories that matter. Her latest project is not only making waves globally, but it has further cemented her reputation as a filmmaker dedicated to telling stories that matter. Funded by the KwaZulu-Natal Tourism and Film Authority, the journey exemplifies how targeted investment in local talent can produce content that resonates across continents. Greytown Girl has already garnered international acclaim, winning a string of awards. The film scooped Best Feature Film at the Los Angeles Movie and Music Awards, Best African Film at the 2025 Cannes Film Awards, with prestigious selections, and at the Nelson Mandela Children's Film Festival, the 30th International Human Rights Conference, as well as festivals in Barcelona and New York. Yet this global recognition, Sitaram says that being nominated for a Simon Mabunu Sabela Award holds a deeply personal significance. So that's the poster of the film, The Greytown Girl, which happens to be based on a true story. So let's read further. It's really heartwarming to be acknowledged by our home province and country, she shares. Central to the success of Great Town Girl has been the support of KZN TFA, TAFA for, yeah. So for Sitaram, this backing was vital and invaluable, enabling her to maintain high production values and build a story with strong local relevance and global appeal. The impact was not just financial. KZN KwaZulu Natal AFA has created a support structure around me, she says. As an independent producer, this amazing holding space allowed me to eliminate challenges and draw on the expertise of seasoned professionals. Committed to developing the creative economy of her province, Sitaram ensured that more than 75% of the suppliers and service providers for the film were based in KwaZulu Natal. Through her company, East Coast Media, which includes a fully accredited training institution, she has created opportunities for the youth and underrepresented communities, including the disability sector. As she continues to write, produce, and mentor from her KZN base, Sitaram is already working on new projects. Her advice for potential filmmakers is to start with a story that matters and stay rooted in your region. Thanks to the catalytic support of KZN TAFA, Sitaram is not only raising the flag for KwaZulu Natal's film sector, but she is also proving that local stories, when authentically told, can find a place on the world stage. And that indeed is a beautiful story to really behold. Such a very beautiful, powerful story to behold. And congratulations, first and foremost, to the iconic, now, rising star in the person of Rani Sitaram. And I like what she said about among all the awards or accolades she has received so far, it is the one that holds dear to her is that which was given to her within the province she hails from. And that is indeed amazing because most often than not, and I mean, the one that is Simon Mabunu Sabela Award, and that is one that holds a deep significance to her. We most likely, generally, we want to be noted all over the world so that we can have the opportunity to leverage on that to be able to promote whatever film that we were acknowledged for. And not just that, but also other projects that would follow afterwards. But for her, this award or nomination in particular holds dear to her heart because it comes from the very province that she hails from. And for her, the home turf is more important than the global recognition. It doesn't mean she doesn't value the global recognition that comes along with doing a good project like this film that she starred in, produced, and wrote, and that is The Great Town Girl. And most often we forget where we come from. I mean, not generally, most people would prefer outside accolades than what comes from within. But being someone who hails from the KwaZulu Natal region, it's so important to her because her story actually was from that place. And her philosophy or her principle is to make sure that whatever story she does from whatever story she tells actually impacts the lives of people in the community or that region positively. From this article, we realize that not only is she producing films, but whatever she does, she ensures that service providers and filmmakers who help on her projects are mainly from that region, and thereby helping create uh, job employment and giving the opportunity for the youth in that area to learn a lot about filmmaking and get involved in what is happening. And that I think is a beautiful story. And not only that, a couple of episodes ago, I did a story concerning how other film industries are investing massively to support their own local filmmakers. And this happens to be one of those opportunities that was given to her and has exposed one powerful seasonal filmmaker, to the world. And just as I said in that article, without such opportunities of funding, the voices of certain filmmakers will never be heard. And I'm glad that for her, she's had opportunity to be funded by the KwaZulu Natal Tourism and Film Authority, and that has given her the opportunity to be seen around the world and told, by telling a story that otherwise would never have seen the light of day. And I'm glad that this is coming from Africa. More of these stories, hopefully, I pray would should be seen by the world, or should be noticed by the world, to see the talents we have here on the main continent of Africa. So, congratulations to Rani Sitaram for telling such a story. And just to give a little background as to what she's been up to. So Rani Sitaram actually has been around for a while, and she has a number of filmography that I like to just bring up. So she's done Great Town Girl, of which she was a producer on, and then actually wrote the story as well. She also has done a couple of short films dating back to 2018 with Sawubona. I See You. She was a producer. Rainbow of Miracles and Inspiration, also a short film, a producer on that, and Fighting Poverty, Working Together. That's a TV miniseries of which she was a producer on that in 2008. And then I Wish I Was in Jail, a producer as well, in 2006. So she's been in the industry for long, but because of the lack of support, people like, I mean, a lot of talent, like her would have never been known if the support had not come. So a lot of people are in the industry, but unfortunately, because they are not receiving the necessary support to uplift their production value for their films, they happen to be lost in the industry. And thankfully, this was not a case, or this was not a story. And I'm glad that such has been seen. Let's just a little synopsis to the Great Town Girl. So this is a brief synopsis, if you can, to be found on IMDb, and it reads that she walked, talked differently, so they tried to hide her, but her determination to live and love transformed her and all those who knew her. And this film, she produced it, but she produced it, and wrote, was a co-writer on that, but it was directed by Darrell Root. Darrell Root. So you can find that Great Town Girl, the trailer, online as well. Hopefully, at the right time, I should do a trailer reaction to that as well. So congratulations to Rani Sitaram, and also kudos to the KwaZulu Natal Film Academy, the KwaZulu Natal Tourism and Film Authority, for supporting her in this manner. And I hope more will be done for wonderful filmmakers who have never had this opportunity. So yeah, moving on from this story to another, the hotly anticipated, third film, which will make it a trilogy in the Knives Out franchise, is going to open the BFI Film Festival sooner than we think. And this story has been published in the Hollywood Reporter, and it is one of the films that is being anticipated, seeing the massive success of the first one, Knives Out, Dead Man Tells No Tale, and then The Glass Onion, which happens to be the second one, and I mean, of which she did for Netflix, and seeing how beloved those films were, it's of no surprise that Netflix decided to come up with the third one in the offing to complete the trilogy of movies. I don't know whether there will be more afterwards, But the article says that Ryan Johnson's hotly anticipated Wake Up Dead Man to open BFI London Film Festival. Daniel Craig, Josh O'Connor, Glenn Close, Josh Brolin, Mila Kunis, and Andrew Scott are among the stars set to attend the opening night gala in October. So it reads that Ryan Johnson's third Knives Out installment, Dead Man will open the 69th BFI London Film Festival. The cast and crew of the Netflix film, including Daniel Craig in the fan favorite role of Private Detective Benoit Blanc, will attend the opening night gala on October 8th at the South Bank Centre's Royal Festival Hall. Josh O'Connor, Glenn Close, Josh Brolin, Mila Kunis, Jeremy Renner, Kerry Washington, Andrew Scott, Kaylee Spaney, Daryl McCormack, and Thomas Hayden Church are round out a colorful new cast of suspects as Blanc tackles his most dangerous case yet. With Wake Up Dead Man, a Nice Out mystery, Johnson continues to evolve his singular approach to storytelling, expanding the foundation laid by Knives Out and Glass Onion. The movie is produced by Johnson and Ram Bergman's T Street. The international premiere of Wake Up Dead Man honors a meaningful history between the director, writer, and the BFI LFF Glass Onion, sorry, BFI LFF. Glass Onion, a Nice House Mystery, closed the 66th edition in 2022, and the first film premiered as the 63rd First Amex Gala in 2019. We are honored to be opening the BFI London Film Festival with Wake Up Dead Man, said Johnson. London is the birthplace of the golden age of detective fiction, and it's a thrill to be back. Christy Matheson, festival director, said at the 69th edition of the BFI London Film Festival, we are inviting audiences to get their spyglass at the ready as we get back on the case with another deliciously fun mystery from director Rian Johnson and his all-star cast with Wake Wake Up Dead Man and Knives Out Mystery. So, led by Daniel Craig and Josh O'Connor, the film features incredible British and international talents on and off screen who bring a sense of play and verve to the screen to craft a film that twists, turns, and will keep audiences guessing to the final frame. The third of the brilliant Knives Out films who we have presented at the LFF. We are delighted to reunite for our special opening night, she said. American Express remains festival partner this year for the 15th consecutive year. The movie releases on Netflix December 12th. On Netflix December 12th. So indeed, it is exciting to have this news concerning Ryan Johnson's Knives Out. Wake Up Dead Man, a Knives Out mystery. And if you've ever watched all the two installments, his films is not formulaic in the sense that most films, particularly if they happen to be in trilogy, you could literally tell what's going to happen if it's a three-act structure, how the formula would work, across board. But for the first two that I've watched, all two are very refreshing storytelling with the reveal being entirely different from what you would expect. Most often when you watch the sequel to an original story or to a first movie, you are likely to think that because the first story had a structure like this, the second will follow suit. But the second had a very different take, in terms of how the guilty person is revealed. And with Ed Norton's character, who happened spoiler territories if you haven't watched it. But in Glass Onion, the Ed Norton's character, who happened to be uh, quote unquote perhaps the victim in this story, ended up actually being the guilty one. So it is quite, I mean, the victim in the story happened to be, why am I blanking on her name? A twin to Monet's character who died, but she came in to fill in the gap. And when she came aboard this project, I mean, aboard the island where Ed Norton invited her friends, which, they came on to solve a mystery, which he claimed was going to be his death, and then it happened to be that he was the guilty party in all of this, in killing Janelle Monae's twin sister's character. So it's quite an interesting twist, unlike the first one where the entire family was being suspected, and eventually it was found out that they were all guilty of assault. In this story, the one who seemed to be the individual who is in danger of being murdered, even though it happened to be a game. He ended up being the guilty party in it. So when you watch both stories, the approach is different and it's very refreshing. Yes, the thorough line is definitely Benoit Blanc. That is Daniel Craig's character. Craig's character. So I'm expecting same for the third one to be very refreshing and different. And already from the teaser that was released in Tadom, is it Tudom or Tadam, the Netflix events where they unveiled their films for the rest of the year and into the next year, it was really enticing and very interesting. I think this film actually will happen in a monastery or in the church of a sort, and the angle is quite different from what we have seen in the first two. The first one being happening in a family home, and then the second one happening on a private island by a rich, by a billionaire, and this time around it's happening in a church. So it is indeed interesting the take with which Ryan Johnson is approaching every one of these films. And it's exciting that it's opening in the BFI Film Festival, which happens to be a regular festival that Ryan Johnson and his installations in the Knives Out franchise have regularly featured in. So, I mean, I can't wait for it to be released on December 12th to see what this film has in store for us, and the heights at which Benoit Blanc would have to go to end up solving the mystery murder, whoever is going to be murdered, whether it's going to be a priest or an individual, how this will be resolved. So it is indeed interesting. Ryan Johnson has always delivered. He's a very powerful filmmaker, and he did. I mean, arguably so. He did a very great job with the Star Wars movies that he directed, and it made such an impact. So I'm expecting no less than stellar, directorial effort for this film as well, and that is what I'll be looking forward to. I don't know about you. Let me know your thoughts on this particular story and the first story I did of Rani Sitaram. Your thoughts on it, what you think Ryan Johnson's film has to offer, and what you think of the support being given to African filmmakers to have their voice being heard through their films. I'll really appreciate it when you leave it in the comment section down below. So moving on to the third story, A24 has been a powerful company, a production company or distribution company, both in both sense, that have come up with such wonderful roster of films that to hit the North American market and the world at large, from Ex Machina, Lady Bird. I mean, there are so many movies that they've brought that have impacted the world so much, and they did one. I'm blacking out on the name, but they did one with Michelle Yeoh, where everything all at once, everything. Let me see if I can get a name right. Everything everywhere all at once, which they did with Michelle Yeoh, and won her Academy Award for Best Actress, and also got two other actresses from the same movie nominated for Oscars. And it's amazing how A24 carefully select their films to air or to distribute in the North American market, and it's making so much impact. Same are they going to do same with another, by this time around, of an animated movie, and that is Nezatu. And Nezatu have been making waves in the the Asian markets, particularly even the China market. And already it has made $2.2 billion in the Chinese market. Majority of the box office revenue comes from the Chinese market. And now it's going to be released in the North American market. And this is reported in the Hollywood Reporter, and it reads that A24 to release Chinese animated blockbuster Nezatu in US theaters with Michelle Yeoh leading English voice cast. A rare collaboration between the indie distributor and China's state-backed distributor CMC Pictures brings the top-grossing animation ever to North American screens in August. And this is written by Patrick Brzezinski. So I read, A24 and CMC Pictures are joining forces to bring an English language version of Neza 2, the runaway animated box office sensation from China, to theaters across North America this summer. The English version will feature Oscar winner Michelle Yeoh in a lead voice role. The film will open in the US, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand on August 22nd, screening in IMAX, 3D, and other premium large formats. The release marks a rare theatrical collaboration between A24, best known for distinctive auteur-driven films like Uncut Gems, After Sun, and Past Lives, and CMC Pictures, a Chinese state-backed company that dominates the global distribution of China's most successful commercial cinema. Nezatu became the world's top-grossing animated film of all time following its release earlier this year during China's New Year calendar holiday. It has earned a massive $2.2 billion, surpassing Pixar's Inside Out 2, $1.7 billion at the global box office. It is also the fifth highest grossing film worldwide overall, with nearly all of its revenue coming from the Chinese mainland. Directed by Yan Yu, aka Zhao, the film is the long-awaited sequel to 2019's Neza, a modern reimagining of the mythological Chinese folk hero that became a cultural phenomenon and a milestone for Chinese animation. Nezatu builds on that legacy with a continuation of the saga, blending high concept storytelling with even more impressive visual spectacle. I'm honored to be part of Nezatu's, a landmark in Chinese animation and a powerful reminder of how universal our stories can be, you said in a statement. Sharing this with audiences in English is such a joy, and I can't wait for everyone to experience the wonder, heart, spectacular artistry, and magic of this film on the big screen. So the franchise's story follows the rebellious young demigod Neza, born to mortal parents and feared by the heavens, as he wrestles with immense powers and a destiny to face an ancient force bent on humanity's destruction. Already a global fan favorite in its original Chinese language release, No Nezatu ranks as the highest rated animated film of the year on Rotten Tomatoes and one of 2025's top rated titles on Letterboxd. The A24 CMC partnership will pose a litmus test of the US market's appetite for Chinese storytelling, as well as the strategic potential of crossover animation when backed by a potent mix of talent and skill. So, this indeed is interesting, but very welcoming in the sense that just in the beginning of this year, with the US president calling for 100% tariffs on all foreign productions, which seemed to be almost threatening what Hollywood Hollywood's influence and even the film industry worldwide as a whole. Now we have this exciting news of Hollywood, a Hollywood production studio partnering with the CMC to bring Nezatu from China to the US. And it's indeed exciting because we never, from what was happening in the earlier parts of this year, it was really it was really heartbreaking for those of us who love films all over the world. And yes, I could understand the angle with which the government of US was trying to do, but then that we were in a state where we didn't even know what would become of cinema in the middle of the year, and already we have this news where ZHA is being brought into the North American market and other territories. I don't know whether based if it's brought into the American territory and it's very successful, whether it will expand to the rest of the world, and hopefully that even those of us in Africa can get opportunity to watch it. But Nezatu has been that successful to the extent that as it stands now, it happens to be the highest box office, sorry, the highest box office success for any animated movie. Any. The closest is where possess $1.7 billion for Inside Out 2. So with this success, it's of no surprise that definitely is going to go to the American market. And thankfully, for those who don't understand Chinese or Mandarin or whichever language the Nezatu was made in, at least for those who speak English, they will get the opportunity to watch these film. And it's not like subtitle films are frowned upon, but most often than not, you end up missing a large chunk of the film, the visuals of the film, as you pay attention to the text that translates the audio. So it is indeed a welcoming idea to have Michelle Yeoh, an Academy Award winner, who happens to have won an Academy Award, I mean, Best Actress for the same studio, A24, in Everything Everywhere All at Once. So it is of no surprise, especially considering the fact that she comes from that region as well. And I'm sure there will be other talents attached to it, of which I hope announcements will be made of them soon. Maybe Ki Yun Kwan, maybe Jack Chan, and other talented actresses who hail from China but has much presence in the world over. So it is indeed exciting news considering the fact that Neza 2 is such a big box office draw. And with it coming into the US market, the question now becomes, is it going to be the first movie to cross the $3 billion mark? I'm not sure it's going to do that, but it really has the potential of making such a big, dent on the box office, structure. It being the fifth now definitely stands, that is if it's well accepted by the US audience and the other territories, and perhaps if A24 goes global with this with a distribution, then it stands a high chance of perhaps even getting to number three, because from number five it will be of no surprise if it passes two films ahead of it. So currently, as the box office have it, you have Avatar, you know, at number one. You have Avengers Endgame at number two. You have is it Titanic at number three? I'm not so sure as the position Titanic, and then you have Avengers Infinity War at number four, and then now you have Neza 2. So it will be of no surprise if it surpasses them. But the big question would be, can it can it be the first film to make it to the $3 billion mark? Well, only time will tell. And only, I mean, I'm sure it will be based on the fact that if the US market receives it very well, the likelihood of it being released internationally, it's also going to be high. So we'll be looking forward to see what A24 will do with the film. Hopefully that it will go beyond just the US market and distribute it, worldwide for other audiences in other territories to also watch it. So indeed, it's exciting to see what is becoming of Nezatu, having been that successful in the Chinese market. Now it's in the US market and other territories as well. So yeah, this wraps up my stories for today. I hope you enjoyed you enjoyed this session of or this episode of the Film Mandates. I'll be coming your way again with another exciting episodes. And I thank you so much for joining me as always. So I'll be coming your way again with another exciting episode of the Film Mandate. My name is Papa Otu, and this has been the Film Mandate. I'll see you soon.